Oh, it's a fish. Yeah, just eating the fish. Oh, and regurgitated it and eating it again. I bought a new camera lens because when I was up down in this valley last week, I saw a kingfisher and I was told about otters. So I've come back. I bought a second-hand lens, 12 to 200, so I should be able to get some. I've got a little bit of good footage of the. It's not good footage about the kingfisher. Didn't see an otter. Saw a heron of some sort. Might have been egret. But anyway, these things have to be done, but it's 12 to 200 gives me the ability to vlog like this. 12 is wide enough, I think, and 200mm for shooting footage of birds. Now I'm in Compton Habas, and it's Compton means Coombe Tun, so the settlement or farm of the Coombe. But it's not Compton I'm really interested in. I'll just show you the Coombe. It's the next door village of Fontmell Magna, which interests me. So you can see this Coombe here. Look at that zoom lens out of focus. But so a Coombe is a valley, but with one end closed. So that's how if we're looking at a charter that says got the Coombe, we need to look for a valley that's snubbed at one end. So this is a nice wide open area that ends at the top of that hill over there. But we're going up this hill. I really don't fancy it today. But there you go. There should be some boundary stones, which I want to do to be able to show people and show you you chartered chums out there, and there's some other interesting stuff about this charter. Again, I've got the stabilisers off, I'm flying by the seat of my pants completely without help from anybody else, because I don't have a copy of any interpretations of the charters in Dorset. But anyway, Fontmell Magna is Fontmell. We have another Welsh, Proto-Welsh name. So this is pre-English, and it survived the invasion of the English. Just like the name of the river and so on in this area. So. But what's even more interesting, according to Margaret Gelling, who's an expert on place names, was it is even more interesting because around about the 6th century, they changed. Fontmell would have been written as Melfont. So before then, so we know the Welsh survived in this area at least up to the 6th century. So they fought off the English, or probably fought them off, yeah, definitely. And for at least a couple of centuries, which is just incredible if you think about it. Oh, I've just spotted a cross dyke. Let me show you that. Even more interestingly, Fontmell has the word font in it, and there's two ways that you can get font into a name. We've got places like Tefon and so on. Is either the Anglo-Saxon funta or the Latin fontana. I may have pronounced both of those wrong, but anyway, you get my point. but we think this is pre-English, therefore comes from the Latin through Welsh, and it means a font. It means we think of the font of all knowledge. You know, a font in a church. It's a spring. It's a collection of water, bubblingness of water, and it obviously has very probably has ritual connotations. So you do find both in Old English and in Welsh. But there's more to say, but I don't want to perpetuate a problem that's been complained of around about fonts. But people have done their PhDs. This one, if you want to base your PhD on this stuff that I'm doing on here, is fine, because he says arrogantly, because this is actually an easy set of waypoints that the Old English put together. They're really, really easy. It's one of the easiest, and so even I, an amateur, can work out pretty much what it is, you know. But we'll go through that as we come to them. So anyway, this is Fontmell. Anyway, that's the combe. That might be the font down there. If that's the highest point of the spring, the highest point of the water, then that could be the font. It's the very name of it suggests all sorts of mysterious goings on, but we just can't tell. There's nothing left. But Fontmell means a spring, font, and Mell is a bare hill, and that's probably the bare hill over there, because on top of that hill is Melbury, which is an enclosure. If it's not a fort, it's an enclosure, a bury on top of Mell Hill. So that's a cross dyke, and there's two of them on this hill. They're prehistoric. We don't really know what they're for, but a good theory might be just to control flow of traffic across the hill. It's if you dominate the hills around here in a time of war, you would dominate the villages at the bottom. So yeah, that could well be, or it could be not so much war as being like a customs post. Try getting a wagon around a dike like that. There's a second cross dyke there. It's quite impressive. They're not field boundaries. They're either ceremonial or political boundaries. Probably. I'm finally up at the top of the hill. I think I am getting a bit fitter. I probably would have been lying on the floor gasping by now. It's those who've predicted an early spring this year are completely wrong. I am now stood in hail. I thought it was around about 0 degrees with the wind chill factor, and now little lumps of ice are falling on my head. So spring is we're still in the middle of winter, charter comrades. It's but anyway, this is, the charter says go up to Hameldune. Now funnily enough, that's the same name as a hill that I did last week. It means scarred hill. It may be a mistake, but we know we're on the right for the person who was compiling this series of ancient landmarks. We know we're right because what coincides with the top of this hill is the throat of the head of Longcombe, which is just over there, 100 yards that way. And it tells us to go up to Hameldune and then along to what it calls Langencombe Havard, which means the head of Longcombe, a direct translation, which is just over here. So we know we're on the right track. There's a lot more to do, but I'd rather not do it while being pelted by ice. But I'd just like to recommend a YouTube channel called Bob Trubshaw's channel. Bob does a history channel. He does a whole range of history, but he always tends to come back to the early medieval period, which is sort of, which is a good period. That's what I'm doing here. But he has his comments turned off on his channel, which means we can't engage with him, and that is part of the role of science, is to confront, to take your theories, and then it's not real peer review, but if your theories can stand up to the criticisms, hopefully polite ones, of your peers, then you are making a contribution. So I would urge him to, for heaven's sake, put your comments on there. We want to engage with you. I want to engage with you. But anyway, excellent. It's an excellent video channel. But he talks about in one of his videos that a lot of the things in charters we can't decipher, and I don't think that's true anymore. I mean, there's a lot of real academics and a few of us heaven forfend amateurs. I have found boundary ditches that are, they're not, I found a dike which Grundy said was lost. I know exactly where it is. It had a beautiful old stag sat on it when I found it, and it's where it should be according to the charter. So there is work we can decipher them. They're not completely alien to us, and as I described even in this video, it's still English, especially now. Nouns are quite easy to do. Langencombe becomes Longcombe. It's still English. It's just a weird setup. I mean, all right, when it comes to verbs, Old English is really, really hard, and adjectives. But anyway, I shall, so if I could feed people, anybody would like to go and check his stuff out, I highly recommend it.